Morning everyone. Now I am going to talk about substations. The contents are substations, purpose of substations, types of substations, advantages and disadvantages of substations. First, what is substation? It is a part of generation, transmission and distribution. A substation will act as an intermediate between the generating station and distributing stations. From the generating stations, the electricity is being stepped up with high voltages and low currents, and at the receiving end, that means the distributing end, the voltages gets reduced, that means step down, and with high currents. Okay, then it acts as an intermediate between the generating stations and the consumers. It may also include transformers for step up and step down purposes. Next, what is the purpose and working of substations? Substations generally transmit electricity at high levels, high voltages and low currents in order to reduce losses, which is called as transmission losses, which generally known as eddy current loss and heat loss. In order to reduce that, we are using electricity, we are transmitting electricity at high voltages and low currents. These substations are the substations where the voltages is being stepped up and is being transmitted, and after transmission and at the receiving end, we are again stepping down the voltages to low levels with high currents in order for to distribution. A variety of protective devices like circuit breakers, fuses, etc. are being used in the substations in order to prevent the damages of equipment. Next, types of substations. There are several types of substations, namely step up, step down, distribution type, underground distribution type, switchyard, 11 kV and 220 kVA substations. We are now going to see one by one. First, step up type of substations. From the name itself, we can understand that the voltages is being stepped up while transmission from the generating station to a substation. These generally requires large power transformers to enhance the voltages from low level to high level. In this power transmission can be done by using a transmission bus or the lines in order to transmit high voltages. The received power from the generating station is used to operate other equipments located in the substations. These step-up type of substation also include circuit breaker, fuses, etc. and other protective devices in order to protect the equipments from being getting damaged. Then step-down type of substations. This type of substations are located at different points in an electrical network. They connect different parts of the network, which acts as a source of sub-transmission lines. The transmission voltages from the generating station will act as a source of sub-transmission lines. These sub-transmission voltages will act as a source of distributing substations. In some cases, the power is transmitted from the line of transmission line to utilize for industrial capacity. Then distribution type of substations. The distribution type of substations is generally located at the receiving end. When compared to the generating end, it is located at the receiving end, where the voltages is being stepped down from the high voltages to low voltages in order to supply to the consumers based on the requirements like home appliances and industrial requirements, etc. That they have two levels of voltages, which is 400 volts and 230 volts. 230 volts are single phase voltages and 400 volts are three phase voltages. So depend upon the requirement, the distribution type of substations are distributing the voltages and currents. Generally, household requirements utilize 230 volts and institutions and industries requires 400 volts. That means three phase requirement. Then underground distribution substation. This type of substations is mainly located at urban areas like Chennai, Delhi, Coimbatore, etc. In order to reduce the space, outdoor space to install the substation. The space required to install the substation is large. In order to reduce that, underground type of distribution substation is used. These type of substations reduces the space, and the space can be utilized for other purposes like construction of buildings and etc. and other uses. This reduces the space. This is a major advantage of underground distribution substation. Next, switchyard. It acts as a mediator between generation and transmission, where equal voltages can be maintained in the switchyard, which means the main purpose of this is is to maintain the voltages between the generating stations and the distributing in at equal level, at particular level of voltage near the transmission line or the power grid. Then 11 kVA substations. 11 kVA substations are generally used at institutions and heavy level industries, high level industries, etc., where the requirement is high. So we are using 11 kV substations. In our institutions, heavy machineries are used, so the current and the voltage requirement is large, so we are using 11 kV substations. the in order to in order to draw the electricity from the power grid, we are using transmission buses and lines. It reduces the transmission losses also. It also includes several CT metering, circuit breaker and capacitor bank, etc., in order to reduce the losses and damages. Then 220 kVA substation. This type of substation is used to find out how much power capacity is utilized by the step down transformer. And this also shows the highest apparent power that the step down transformer can provide. The maximum level of voltages that the 220 kVA substation can withstand is 220 kilovolts. Then we are going to see about advantages and disadvantages of substations. Failure of bus or lines, that means transmission bus or lines, will totally shut down the substations, and it protects the equipments from damage. The disadvantages is it is very difficult for maintenance, which means if a bus or the line transmission line gets repaired, then we have to de-energize the substations completely, and then we can repair. This is the major disadvantages of substations. This can also be used only when the loads can be interrupted or have other supply arrangements. Thank you.